Guys, welcome back to Ruck and Roll Rugby, and I've got my mate here. You might know him by now if you've watched a few of our videos. This is Rian. He's from Auckland. He's my mate. Sometimes. No, I'm joking.
Sometimes.
No, I'm joking.
Put it to the test today, Joe.
Because we have got our own opinions about the Springboks and what they've got to do in this game going up to the quarters. But yeah, we're going to talk some Springbok rugby today, and yeah, it's so nice to have someone to bounce ideas off and just to get opinions. So, I mean, Rian, first, we know the Springboks have played their last game.
Yep, they're done.
Yeah, so it's all over now for them. Yeah, you never know, Scotland and Ireland. But
I see this game playing out like one of those medieval battlegrounds because Scotland's best shot at making quarterfinals. I don't know if they've made quarterfinals before. You might be correcting me, but I don't think they've made it to the next phase of the competition before.
I can't because I don't know.
Ireland sitting in a situation where this is probably their best shot at taking it further than the quarterfinals. They're looking good, but 100%. Boy oh boy, Scotland can be throwing some spanners in the works with this result. But in all likelihood, it's probably going to be Ireland. But oh boy, there is a possibility for some upset and surprises happening this weekend.
So I can't. Maybe how much does Scotland have to beat Ireland with to cancel Ireland out? I mean, to drop the Springboks out of the contention of this pool, it's got to be something crazy. I know.
So, from my understanding, the most unlikely result is the one where the Boks get knocked out. That is Scotland winning by 21, Ireland getting a 4-try bonus point. So you're looking at bare minimum 41-20 Scotland to Ireland, which is so unlikely based on previous. Not impossible, but if that happens, follow the money. There's some match fixing going on. But other than that, Ireland getting pretty much like a bonus point, Scotland is out.
But you mentioning match fixing or whatever, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole because it is deep. It's really deep. But I mean, you'd see that in the game. You would see that there'd have to be some inconsistency.
It's just unlikely. I mean,
rugby is a very competitive game, so you got to be playing or you're not going to be playing. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're talking at a 6-7 try to 4 try bare minimum result, which is, it's not impossible once again, but man, it is so unlikely. So, as much as it's a possibility, as a Springbok supporter, I'm not really concerned about it because it is so unlikely.
Why are we even thinking of this?
It's just what we do.
That is what we do at Springbok. We think of everything.
But yeah, how nice would it be the Scots pulling a fast one over the Irish? Irish sitting pretty as tournament favourites, world number ones, not having done anything wrong in this tournament, and one bad result against Scotland could see them packing their bags. Or even if Scotland wins and just beating Ireland with more than 7 and Ireland not getting any bonus points, Ireland, Scotland on the same points, Scotland beat Ireland, Ireland goes home.
Listen, you like
what an upset.
You like a calculator. I gotta take it. And if you miss something there, listen, this guy, I wouldn't even try what you've just done. So well done. I'll put you on the spot. But the fact is, let's be honest. Let's be realistic. Let's say Ireland's gonna win this.
Probably.
Because we can go on and then as what if Scotland wins and what if. But let's try and keep structure, because otherwise we'll be here all night. You guys will be watching in 3 hours from now and be doing a marathon of us running around our own tails. So let's say that Ireland, top pool, right, and the Springboks second. Then what does that mean? That means the Springboks are playing France. Right?
That's it.
So now we get into all these interesting discussions, because we know Lucanio Am has just made his way back into the team.
Lucky arm.
Yeah, lucky Am. And you know what? Lucky Springboks in many ways, because maybe unlucky losing Marks, which is a big blow for the Springboks. We don't want to be offensive to any player, you don't want to get players injured, but a swap for me with Mampimpi and the kind of wings we got right now for is not necessarily such a bad swap, you know what I mean? Like, getting back in here it's probably falling in the Springboks' favour in many ways, because both those players are really instrumental players in this team. So, what's your feeling since these two guys have come back in?
And it is tricky. Like, the big loss in my books is Malcolm Marx.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Malcolm Marx is just one of those players that brings that X factor. That's just really, it's a special player. And as much as the backup in Dion Ferry, picking up the slack in the hooker position, it's just not comparable.
Yeah.
Malcolm Marx is a special player. Having said that, calling up Andre Pollard, I think Rassie and Jocks just managed the team, to the point where that was even a possibility of putting up another back, where you want that kind of point machine going. And first game out, I think he did about 50 minutes of game time and had 100% of the kicks over.
Exactly.
That's why they brought him back, and he seems in song, in form, and ready to go.
100%. Yeah.
So I mean that's a good position to be in. Mampimpi, special player, but at the same time, the Boks is pretty blessed with the amount of depth they have in that position at the moment. And Mampimpi is a good player. And a special player, but not irreplaceable. And we're really lucky, and there's a lot of depth. And if we're brutally honest, he was probably third or fourth in the pecking order in that role at the moment, 100%. In any case at the moment. So quite a good problem to have in having to kind of figure out how you make the selection, who do you drop and who do you pick with somebody like Lucanio coming back in. 100%. As long as that knee's good to go and he's fit to go, he's got to go.
Just from my perspective, from my Mampimpi point of view, he showed some good form, I think, in the game versus Romania. He's a class player when he plays, so you can never take him off and say he's not. But you just feel that some of those other guys are better. When it comes to Malcolm Marx, the thing that concerns me a bit in the lineouts is, yes, Fourie have thrown a few skew and he's been good in his last 2 or 3 games, but the long throws, so the forward throws are fine when the locks come up in front, but it's the being able to find the guys at the back. And and that's the thing that we'll see. It'll play out in this World Cup. It's gonna happen if you want to or not. The Springboks like to bring in impact, so I do believe a Fourie will come on second half. It's just gonna. I think it's gonna happen. It's predictable because we're gonna be able to throw up front, but on the back it's just a little bit we'll see with time. It'll teach itself. But moving on to what you say, I'm coming back. My last video was all about the selection, and the Springboks have always had this thing where what they do is 7-1 split, nuke squad. Now 6-2 split, bomb squad. That's been the Springboks introduced the stuff to World Rugby. Let's be honest, it's been introduced by the Springboks in many ways. So you go look at that and you say, okay, whoa, now you're presenting a challenge for yourself, because let's just play devil's advocate here and say the Springboks want to bring in but they don't want to play him from the start. Now, I understand if they're playing from the start, they eliminate that issue, but they're on the risk. They were very, very kind of like stern on their opinion around Pollard and saying Pollard will not play from the start. He will come on second half. So let's just play devil's advocate and say that guy's going to come on only second half. That means he's going to be on the bench. Then you have only one option left if they want to play a 6-2. If they want to go 5-3, fair enough. But like we've discussed off air and off of this, we've had a great discussion, guys, about this, because we just like having drinks and chatting. We don't see the Springboks going 5-3 because that's what they do. They want to be up front really strong. So if they go 6-2, that leaves you with two players. Not two players. So if it's two players, for us, like in my opinion, I know Kobus Reinhardt is there. Yeah, you can play him on the wing, but they haven't played him on the wing all that much. We know Grant Williams have been played full games, well, I think full games or like half games on the wing. I think full games. He's played in some of the minnows full games on the wing. So you got Grant Williams that can play wing and fly off, scrum off. So that's clear. That guy can be utility, can cover both. Then you have the second option. So the options come in around, do you play Pollard first or do we play Mani first? And that second option, who's that going to be on the bench between those two? And then are they going to play both? Because I know your opinion is maybe they will not play Mani.
Yeah.
Are you still standing by that?
Yeah, no, just the game against Ireland, I think Mani did not do himself any favours with that performance. Front football, on attack, man, he is a contender and a person difficult to keep under wraps, but
you're saying that type of game, that tight game, is not...
if you have the situation where, like, Mark's got injured and you decided to roll the dice and pull up a fly-off instead of a speciality hooker, why did you do that? You did that to get the points. The scoreboard pressure, we're going into playoffs now. You know my opinion between... the difference between the pool stages where the bonus points for tries count and going into knockout stages where tries doesn't really matter anymore. Pretty rugby doesn't count. It's just about that scoreboard pressure, and I can't see Mani starting on that because scoreboard pressure gets built in the first half. Whenever that opportunity arises, you need that ability to convert and get the 3 points, get back, go at it again. And I mean, everybody thinks, or in my opinion, everybody thinks Pollard's the answering that question. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. Pollard also, sometimes misses whatever. But the last game, like 15 minutes that he played, he's got a 100% kicking record, and he just kind of showed why they pulled him back. It's not the same kind of pressure, so I mean, there's no guarantees. You can't bank everything on him, but the reality is that's why Rassie and Jock pulled him back into the squad, took the gamble. And if you play Pollard, I've got this feeling where I kind of think Mani is just going to be on the back burner and just a
But
backup.
do you think Marnie is going to be on the bench? Because your challenge now is you've got in the mix. So unless Um's going to be playing on the field, who's going to be? What do you think? Like, I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, but what I mean is like, what do you think? So let's just talk. Let's not talk forwards, because forwards we know the Springboks will bring 6 forwards that will be good. But let's just theoretically say they're going to play a 6-2 split. It's very interesting to me. Let's move away from the 5-3, because the 5-3 makes more sense with there so many backs right now. So it makes sense in that way, but it doesn't make sense from a Springbok rugby type of view. So let's go 6-2. If we have 2 backs, what are you going to do? Who are you going to play and who are you going to start? Utility, looking at utility, obviously, you know.
So I think Rassie and Jock kind of tasted. It's not the ideal solution, but it's to see whether it's a viable solution. If 5 starts or 9, anything happens to probably Pollard starting at 10, and you don't have the cover of Marnie on the bench, I reckon 5 will probably slot across to 10, and it would probably be Williams on the bench for 9, possibly Reinach, but I think in all likelihood probably Williams, just giving you that versatility of a wing as well at the same time. So it gives you that kind of coverage. I think if I'm as fit to play, which I presume he is for the fact that he got called back, and from my understanding he's in consideration for the quarterfinals already, so I reckon he's probably fit, and he hasn't missed all that much. I mean, he's basically missed the pool stages of the World Cup. He got injured just prior to the Twickenham game, so he's been in the structures. He's been part of the squad for the majority of the year already. So I reckon it'll probably be a kind of easy slot in for him, and as long as he's fit to go, I think he's going to probably be starting. So you'll probably have Williams on the bench for 9. On a 6-2 split, you'll maybe have somebody like Damien Willemse.
You won't think he'll start? Do you think Leroux will start?
Either Damien on starting lineup and Willie on the
bench. You think Willie will make the bench?
Willie on the bench. Just
wow.
Giving you that like kind of versatility thing, or you might still see the 7-1 with a Quagga covering all the bases and just going for that forwards pressure.
I love the enthusiasm. I gotta say, I love the enthusiasm. So I mean, like I love the views, but that's what I love about rugby, is that we can all talk and everyone's got a different view, got a different way of seeing it. And yeah, man, like that's the thing, is like there's 2 ways to look at it. The one way is when you look out of a Rassie and Jock perspective, because I think the way they think, I might be wrong, but when I think of the out of the way, I would think as out of my rugby fan perspective, and I was a coach, and versus what they do is 2 different things, you know. But the first thing that I would say is, I think mainly is, if it's a 6-2 split. If it's a 6-2 split, in my opinion, I don't think will play. If he's going to play, he's got to start. And I don't know if the Springboks will start him. So that's the first question. I just personally think the Springboks have got to go for a gamble. If they're going to be playing from a start, it's not really a gamble in my view, but they are like that. Like, in the sense of they don't usually play, like I saw what they did with Pollard. It's just what I'm looking at in the press conference. They got this ready to this. They take them through a program, and then they're like, oh, we got to introduce them again. And Jock Nino, being a ex-physiotherapist, whatever, he's serious about that stuff. So my question is, if they want to put them on, yeah, go. Sorry.
I mean, I hear you, Joe, but
This is a quarterfinal.
it's you're comparing two different scenarios with one another, and you gotta keep the individual situations and the and Pollard like kind of situation playing out. It's two completely different perspectives. You know, it's like Pollard. I don't think he's played any rugby for the Boks this year. He's played very little rugby prior to the World Cup starting, and he had that like half an hour playing club rugby and then being called up. Versus that he's played quite a bit for the Boks already this year. He had that injury, I think it was in the Argentina game in like the rugby championship, and he's been part of the structures. He's
also
not
played. So both of them has not played. Now I'm just talking out of a Springbok system perspective. So they talk about the system. Jock Nino talks about the system. I'm just thinking that they're gonna have a challenge with because if they want to bring in right? If they're not going to go for a 5-3 split and they stick to a 6-2 split, and this is not set that they're going to go for a 6-2 split. If they want to bring in they need to have 3 players on the bench, because I definitely agree with you 100% that Williams is the guy, because Quibus has been outstanding in scrum off position, but Williams have been good at scrum off and at wing. He scored an amazing try. He can play both. So the thing is, you've got to look at what you have and when you have it. So the thing is, Quibus Reinach have not run out on wing. I personally just don't think that a Reinach that's not played many like real tough games on wing, and a de Klerk that's not played really pressured games at 10, they would take that risk. So in my opinion, I think they will go with definitely, if they go for the 6-2 split, they'll go with a Williams 100%, and then the question will just be around Monty Libbok starting or Pollard, but the other one will be on the bench. But from my opinion, I think, not my opinion, from a Rassie perspective, Rassie and Jock Nino perspective, I just think they are that kind of type coaches that will say, you know what, we're going to start Monty. We've had this discussion where you and me don't necessarily agree, just because the first half is more forgiving in my opinion, where he'll come on and he'll try and maybe do whatever he wants. But in that second half, we saw this against the British and Irish Lions with Mornay Steyn coming on that second half. I just think they'll use Pollard more. They'll play him the whole second half, and Pollard will come on second half. And you'll probably have also Grant Williams come on second half, and they'll bring on that pair, because Quibus Reinach and Pollard is what I saw before, but since lately I just feel that the problem is the utility problem with Reinach. But anyway, a long story short, I think it's going to be Monty Libbok on the bench. Monty Libbok starting, Pollard on the bench, and Williams on the bench. That's my opinion, but I might be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. Because that's the interesting thing, is you saying Pollard start, Monty from the bench. No, you're saying Monty not from the bench.
Yeah, I think Monty might not feature.
Do you really think Monty will not play in the quarters?
I think the expectation is going to be 80 minutes off the fly off.
What you feel or what you think Rassie and them will do?
I think Rassie and them is going to expect like 80 minutes off the fly off.
Wow. Okay.
With the scrum off on the bench, slotting into scrum off, Faf starting. They've tested him. Faf's got the ability to do 80 minutes unless he takes like a head knock on a tackle 8 seconds into the game. That's happened, but it plays out the way that it plays out. But I think they tested him on the fly-off role. Not that they want him there, but if everything goes sideways and you need to play him there, he's that option. And I just think
I don't dismiss what you're saying.
I think the expectation is to use the bench better than having 2 fly-offs, one starting, one on the bench, like specifically as a fly-off. I don't think that like kind of matches what they've been doing the past couple of seasons, and that strength of the 6-2 bench, I can't see them moving away from that. That's in our DNA. Bash it up forwards, get that front foot ball, and apply the pressure in that way. I just can't see them moving away from that, and to be able to do that, you're gonna have to select that team quite carefully and back on it. And you know, even like the Lukania, the fact that they brought him in, I think they want to
use him.
They want to play him, and I mean, what a talent!
Nice.
And what a good problem to have, to try and figure out where you're gonna slot that guy in or how you're gonna slot him in. But as long as he's fit, and we don't know, we're not there at the training ground, but I think if he's fit, he'll be on the team, and the expectation is probably going to be like the 80 minutes out of him as well. I don't think there's going to be specific coverage for him, but if he doesn't make the team and he's here just there to like kind of fill in if there's any injuries or anything like that, it's not a train smash. You know, you have guys like Jesse Creel there, like Moodley Kanan Moodley being able to slot in on 13. It's good problems to have.
100%.
That's
Yeah.
good depth in selection, and
yeah.